Those are burning.
All right, welcome back. It is your girl Alicia, JazzySweetzNTreatz, and this is season 2 of Pressure. And season 2, man, I'm going seafood crazy. Like, I'm coming at y'all with so many different seafood dishes, different ways you can do it. And this rip, I got fried fish Atchafalaya, which is with a twist because we added shrimp to it. Fish Atchafalaya is basically crawfish étouffée drizzled on top of fried fish in a fresh bed of white rice. But we're going to add our shrimp to it because we just got to make that, you know what I'm saying? We got to add that pressure. And you know, Jazzy like to put her own spin on things. I can't just do it the normal basic way because ain't nothing basic about me. So we're going to keep it rolling. And I want to let y'all know exactly what's what are we using, and how we're going to use it. We have some fresh peeled and deveined shrimp. Okay, we have some fresh catfish, Louisiana crawfish. Let's be clear right now because a lot of people get this shit twisted. Do not bring me no crawfish from no China, okay? If I live in Louisiana, the crawfish capital, why would you give me imported crawfish way from China? That's just doing too much, okay? So we're going to keep it home team, okay? Fresh Louisiana crawfish. And you can tell the difference because look how thick and fat they are. If they came from China, they're gonna be real small. Okay, so moving forward, we have a array of seasonings. We have and it looks like this because it's just been processed. Okay, I have onion, yellow pepper, red pepper, bell pepper, celery, and a little bit of green onion. Okay, so this is just a little bit of everything. Okay, so you can't be missed with this. And as you're gonna see, I'm not gonna season my fish. Why? Because my fry is already seasoned. We don't want to have it too seasoned because it don't take much. Okay, so we're gonna keep this ball rolling. And today I'm gonna show y'all what we're gonna use as far as dry seasoning. Okay, granulated garlic, Chef Paul Pardon, of course, the Meat Magic, granulated onion, Old Bay, a little Montreal steak, and all the real good cooks know, kitchen bouquet. That's just a little, I don't need this, but I want this, and you're going to see why. All right? So y'all keep it locked in for some more pressure, and I'm going to bring y'all over. We're going to transition to the stove, and I'm going to show y'all your first step in working y'all étouffée, okay? Y'all keep it locked. Pressure.
Those are burning.
All right. Okay, so over here we have our sweet salted cream butter. As you know, in my kitchen, I only use real butter and margarine. Okay, it's going to either be margarine unsalted or salted. Okay, that's it. We're not using any of that artificial butter in this kitchen right here, and you're going to understand why. Okay, so I'm just going to probably use a stick and a half. We're only going to get like half of this. See that? All right. And then we're gonna let that, we're gonna saturate our skillet with that butter. And we're gonna let that cook down. But as it's cooking down, I'm gonna add my peppers and seasoning, okay? Wait till y'all smell it. Okay, and we're gonna cook this at a high heat, medium high, shall I say. And being that it's been processed, it's not gonna take long. We're not waiting on this to cook down. We have a few healthy chunks in there that we're gonna let cook down, and that's it. But if you can smell that, you want your butter to be melted down, and you want those big chunks to be kind of translucent, so to speak. And then you're gonna add your flour, okay? Once that butter is melted down, you're gonna add that flour. But while we letting that melt down, I'm gonna add to y'all my little secret weapon, okay? And y'all know better than bouillon, lobster base, okay? I feel like lobster is it's the mama crawfish, okay? Crawfish is the baby, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and just add, you know, Jazzy don't do no measuring. I let the Lord tell me when to stop, okay? And we're gonna add our minced garlic, and that's gonna be the last part of this base, okay? Not very much of that. Okay, that's about a half a teaspoon. All right, so we're gonna let this cook down. We're gonna stir that in, give it a quick stir. We're gonna let this cook down. And I'm gonna show y'all how we're gonna season our shrimp and crawfish over here on the island. We're gonna transition back to the island, and we're gonna let that cook down for a couple more minutes before we add our flour. The next step is flour, okay? Because we have to make our gravy, and that's gonna be the thickening of the roux, okay? So flour is gravy. Gravy is flour. Know that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead on and transition back over here to the other side of the island. We are ready to do some more seasoning, okay? So we have us a little crab boil. We cannot have any seafood without it, you know? Not a whole lot, because we have other seasonings to add, right? So we're just gonna add a little bit of this. I don't like the way that's coming out. I like it. Colossal. A little bit of this. And you don't need a whole lot because you got your dry seasoning over there. And we're going to add the seasoning as we go. Okay? If we need to add more, we'll add more. But I think we're going to be fine. Alrighty. A little OB to B. I really need to get them shrimp coated. So, all right. We're gonna mix that up just a little bit. And I'm gonna add my onion and powder over there. I don't want it to be too oniony or too garlicky because I got minced garlic and onions. Okay. So while we're over here, we're gonna go ahead and coat our fish because that is pretty much seasoned. Like I said, we're not gonna overdo seasoning that because we already have something working over there. And that lobster base brings so much flavor, you know, it's gonna work. And so with this here, we're not gonna do an egg wash or nothing like that because, you know, with the fish fry that I use, which is a Louisiana fish fry, sometimes if I don't make my own with the cornmeal and the seasoning, okay, all it has to be is cold. Usually you dip it in cold water, dip it in the base, you know, back and forth like that. But we just gonna coat these bad boys real good. And our grease is already at the fish frying temperature. But we wanna go ahead, and when you're cooking, you wanna have everything cooking at one time because you don't wanna be sitting there waiting on no doggone fish or your rice or your vegetable, whatever you're gonna have. You want everything to be ready. So when your rice done, your etouffee done, your fish done, everything hot at the same time, ready to roll. Multitask and clean as you go. Okay? It definitely can be done. So we're gonna go ahead and wash our hands. We're gonna transition back to the other side of the kitchen, and I'm gonna show y'all how to add in your crawfish and your shrimp, as well as make your roux for your etouffee, and we're gonna drop our fish. Keep it locked in, big pressure. Okay, so this is pretty much the consistency that we were looking for. Okay, it's just about translucent. So we can add our flour. It's going to work its way down. Now, you do keep your other half a stick of butter just in case you need it to work for you. But if you measure this stuff right, it's like 1.5 cups of flour. And because I like my gravy thick, I don't like thin gravy. Okay. And you just gonna brown this and brown this. And the reason why I use the lobster base in there, which we're gonna add again, you see how it's locking up? Yeah. I'm gonna add a little more lobster base, and I'm gonna add the lobster base because it's gonna act as my seafood stock. If you don't have lobster base, use a seafood stock. If you don't have a seafood stock, just try to use chicken broth. I just don't advise to use straight up water, okay? So we're going to knock that over to the side and let that continue to brown. But we're going to get us a little scoop of the lobster base. And we're going to sit it on this side and work it in with the water. And we're going to make our gravy, okay? But this is the basic step of the roux. You see this color? You can either keep it this color or you can add your brown gravy. I may or may not add that brown gravy, because I like the dark look, but it smells real good. Again, if it lock up too tight on you, you just add that butter, your other half, but you should be fine. All right, so we're gonna let that cook while we get our water together, and we're gonna add us some more lobster base. Actually, I want this to be over this way. And then I'm stir it and work it in together. So this is our lobster base. It's going to be acting as our seafood stock, okay? You can take the same thing that we had this flour in and chunk the rest of it out of there. And I'm going to add some more water. And this is going to be a broth. And you're going to add your water in the best way you... And you work it in slowly. And see, I add my water in like this, so this way it won't be too watery. You let that cook down for a few and thicken up, and then you will add you a little bit more water. Okay? You let it all catch. And see, I don't want it to be this caramelly color. I want it a little darker. But that looks great. Let's get some more water. And you work your roux first. You work your roux. And they have some people, like the way my mom does it, she'll saute her onion and bell pepper down with her shrimp. But with me, I feel like that it doesn't take long to cook. So I just dump mine in and let it cook down in there and work the flavor in like that. Because sometimes you can cook it down and they'll get small and tight, and you have little teeny tiny shrimp or little teeny tiny crawfish by the time it's all cooked down. So being it don't take long, I don't add it in early. Now if it was some turkey necks or something like that, yeah, you put it in, you have that pre-cooking, and use another pot. And as you can see, it's getting thicker and thicker. This is our roux. We're going to add more water. And of course we're going to season it, because the more water you add, the lobster base is real good, but you want that spice, you want that kick. You understand? But we're not going to add that until after we see what type of seasoning that our shrimp and crawfish bring when we put it in there. Okay? So after we put our shrimp and crawfish in, if we need a little more flavor to it, we'll add it. But again, you come with small amounts of water and you work it in until it's the consistency that you're looking for. And you're looking for a thick, smooth consistency. Nobody wants a water gravy. Okay? Nobody wants a water gravy. And so you keep working that roux. You want it lump free, okay? Your vegetables being chunky, that's one thing, but chunks, no. Now that looks great. We're gonna add us a little bit more water, and then we're gonna add our seafood, and we're gonna let it all cook down together. Okay? A little bit more water. Yeah. And make sure you get your sides because you want to get everything. Now I showed y'all how to cook rice. We already got our fresh rice ready to roll, baby. Just waiting on us. We're going to add our seafood before we add any more water, okay? All right, we're gonna get that seafood. All right. And we're just gonna get that stirred in all the way right. All the way through. It's gonna be some real thick, buttery, rich étouffée. And as you can see, like I said, with this color, a lot of people like theirs this color. I like mine a little darker. So I'm gonna show you what my trick is. Kitchen bouquet. It's just a browning and seasoning sauce, okay? It's gonna add a little more flavor to it. But if you can see, you see all that flavor in there. You see all that seasoning in there, okay? It's visual. It's visual. So you really don't need much. Not even a full cap. About, oh, that's too much. I'm not gonna pour that out, okay? That's more than enough. And you're gonna see what I'm saying. See there? Let's sit this down. Just a little bit more browner than what it was, you know? Alrighty. It's gonna be real thick. I'm gonna put another teeny weeny drop. Alright. Alright, and we're gonna add a little more water to that, and we're gonna let that cook down. And we're gonna come back for some magic. That's gonna cook down for about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay? And you got you some good crawfish étouffée. Crawfish and shrimp étouffée. So like I said, a little more water. Yeah, that's how I want it. Because once it looks watery now, but once it lock in with the rest of that flour and browning base, because it's a thickening agent as well. Oh, it's gonna be so fire. But y'all know me, I gotta add a little more seasoning to this. I think Chef Paul Madon is calling got his name on it. And like I said, I could just feel it. Being a cook that I am, and my magnitude, I know when I need some more seasoning. Yeah, that's gonna be off the chain. It's gonna be off the chain. So we're gonna get ready to head on over to our fryer. We're gonna let this work in and cook down, and we're gonna head on over to our fryer and get our fish popping, because this is gonna be ready in no time. We're gonna just top that up, keep this on a medium high, about 5 or 6, and about 10 minutes, and you ready to rock. Bruh. All right, y'all, we are back just as I promised. I want y'all to look at this fresh rice, steamed rice, with this crawfish and shrimp atchafalaya, the jazzy way, the pressure way, the only way to go, that is. Man, this is beautiful, y'all, and you can achieve this dish. I told y'all it's under 30 minutes. As long as you got everything rolling at the same time, you're gonna work out just fine. And this is like one of my favorites, and I really hope y'all enjoy this recipe. I want y'all to cook it, send me y'all photos so I can post them on my Instagram, and you know, to see that y'all really doing y'all precious shit out there. You see what I'm saying? So I want y'all to keep it locked in. I definitely want y'all to like, I want y'all to subscribe, I want y'all to comment anything y'all want to see me cook, anybody y'all want to see on the show that's pressure. You understand? Domain discretion at this bit though, you understand? So without further ado, we're gonna wrap this on up so I can go ahead on and handle up on this pressure, because it's smelling too good to keep this conversation rolling. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank y'all again for tuning in. It is your girl Alicia, JazzySweetzNTreatz, and you have been pressurized. All right, pressure.
Those are burnt.